Like so many communities, Sheboygan's downtown isn't what it used to be. When the world moved from rail to road transportation, the 8th Street corridor became a hub of activity and commerce. And for decades, one young woman watched over it all. But then things changed again, and the Statue of Hope that once overlooked the city began a journey into the unknown. Jenna Wells picks up the story in our Sunday morning spotlight.
There's just so many different possibilities that could have happened.
A piece of history.
And it just seems so surreal that it would simply disappear into thin air.
That's now a mystery.
But that kind of seems to be what has happened.
Sheboygan residents of a certain age may remember a signature image of old downtown. A statue of a woman sitting atop a white building on 8th Street.
Kind of your typical woman dressed in robes, has a very, stoic pose, straight-backed, just kind of looking out over everything that can be seen in the area.
Her name was Hope. 500 pounds of marble, 4.5 feet tall, looking east over downtown with an anchor in her right hand.
When you looked up, that was one of the kind of quintessential things you saw along the skyline of 8th Street was the Statue of Hope.
Tamra Lang is the curator of collections and exhibits at the Sheboygan County Historical Museum. She's as close as you can find to an expert on Hope, who she says sat atop the Sheely Monument Company.
Monuments, statues, gravestones, obviously some of our local monuments that were tributes for different things were done by Sheely.
Ironically, Hope wasn't built by the famous sculptor family.
Well, Hope actually comes into the picture in 1885 when they are opening in this building, their monument company located in downtown. Henry Sheely Sr. actually sends to Italy to have this statue made and then shipped back over.
That's where she stayed for 88 years, until 1973, when the entire downtown corridor was redeveloped.
But there's a number of buildings along that block that end up being torn down, essentially for this new library to go in. And there's a lot of concern at that point. What is going to happen to the Statue of Hope?
The statue was taken down and stored in the Sheboygan Municipal Services Building.
The agreement was that Hope would be held on to and a new home would be found once all of this construction is done.
After 5 years in storage, a restored Hope returned to her old neighborhood, now outside of the new Meade Public Library. A dedication ceremony was held in August of 1978 as part of the city's 125th anniversary.
It kind of returns to that same place, but in a new way and in a different point of view for people. So not on top of the building, but on the property from where she came.
She went from looking over the city to eye level with its citizens. And that's where she stayed for about 10 years.
Obviously, being a little bit lower, it is subject to a new damage component, which is occasional vandalism.
In 1988, the vandalism got out of hand.
If they would like to preserve it, they need to take it back down before the damage is too far along.
It's believed Hope was taken apart into pieces and again brought to the Municipal Services Building. After a few years without her, Lang says the library asked the city to bring her back. And that's where the story turns.
And at that point in time, it's basically gone missing. They can't figure out where it is. It's not where they thought it had been stored. Ever since 1994, there's been kind of this undercurrent of what happened to the Hope statue.
She's heavy, she's large, she couldn't have been easy to move. But somehow, Sheboygan has lost hope.
We've been through pretty much every nook and cranny that a 5 foot, 500-pound statue would be in, and I have yet to find it.
For 31 years now, she hasn't turned up. Lang says every once in a while, somebody asks what happened to her.
All it takes is one person to say, hey, I remember when I was a kid seeing the Hope statue on top of the Shealy building. Whatever happened to that? And then it starts this conversation.
Just because hope is lost doesn't mean she's forgotten.
One of the things that I love about working in history and working in museums is just seeing people's connections to things, to objects, to their experiences. I think this is one of those items that there's just a lot of connections to, and it goes back generations.
Theories have changed over the years. In a 2008 article, writer Bill Wangeman says an anonymous source told him she was loaded onto a truck with broken concrete and sent to a landfill. But it's unknown if the claim is true.
And the further we get away from it, the more difficult that also becomes, because some of those people that would have been involved at the time aren't here anymore.
As people like Lang share what they know and what they don't know, at least history will keep hope alive.
We are inherently fascinated by mysteries. And this is certainly a mystery. You know, what happened to hope?